Pick me off.
All right, what's good, everybody? Long time no see. We've been having technical difficulties, just letting everybody know. So if we're starting to spin and you lose us for a little bit, do not leave. I'm gonna pull us off and bring us back in. So if it starts having issues, just keep the stream open. Just letting y'all know. If it starts having issues, keep the stream open and I'll fix it as we go because I think it's gonna do it again. It's done it like 2 or 3 times when we're trying to load this up. So we'll see. But who's all in here? We got 4 people in here so far. Beach is in here. Hopefully we get a good amount of people, bro. I'm not trying to just talk to myself in this bitch, bro.
There should be like 15 of us.
I don't believe it. Coach Keys.
You're Bryce.
See you tomorrow, buddy. Time to get back on that craps table.
Coach Red.
All right, like I said, before we kind of get started, if it cuts off and you guys see us spinning or if we're like frozen, just stay in here. It'll eventually fix. I'll pull us off and pull us back on. And been doing it a couple times when we were trying to do like mock live shows. So got a bunch of stuff to cover today. Obviously, we haven't been playing for about a month now, a little bit more than a month, right around at least. So we want to kind of go over everything with you guys as far as the changes we're going to make. We're going to make a lot of changes this cycle. We also want to go over how we're going to pick teams, the expectations that, you know, all of us as coaches have in BYO. I think we kind of got real lax on a lot of things. And I think that was part of our detriment and how the league kind of slowly, I would say, died for this cycle. We just less and less live shows, less and less activities, people not doing recaps and videos like we all should have been, and us not staying on top of people. So this time around, we're going to do a better job of that. And there's going to be, we're not going to bring back fines, but there's definitely going to be like more of a zero tolerance situation where like we're heading into a new cycle. It's going to be very easy to fill spots. So if we feel like people aren't a good fit, we're just going to fill the spot. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, obviously we've had a really, really solid core group for damn near 800 days, 700 days at this point, 2 cycles. So, you know, between 22 and 26 of y'all have been with us the entire time. So hopefully we can keep that going. But there's also a few people who, you know, refuse to do recaps and aren't in the chat as much or constantly dragging advances, constantly having to be reminded nonstop to do stuff. And it's like, we all have lives at the end of the day. We understand that. But we also all know that, like, this isn't a necessity. You don't have to be in the league. So, like, if you can't keep up with what's, you know, expected and what's demanded in BYO, there's going to be so many leagues you can join. It's not like nothing personal. I mean, it's just we want to make sure that we keep the same. Sorry, hold on, my wife's texting me. We want to make sure we keep the same standard that we started off with, you know, in 2024 when we initially started building this shit from the ground. So, just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. That's why we're going to go over everything. Nothing is really set in stone. This is just ideas we're throwing out there. Now we kind of have already leaned towards what we're going to do. There's probably going to be pushback on some of the new rule changes and ideas that we have for the rules. But at the end of the day, we're trying to make it more of a competitive balance. We want more people to win games, and we also want to make it more realistic. The biggest change we're going to make, obviously, is going to be for the 4th down rule. We'll talk about that. There was just too many people going for it. Like, I mean, we're getting to a point where
Once
this isn't
past the 50-yard line. It was almost like we were playing Ultimate Team. You know?
Yeah, like it was getting to a point where it was like, yeah, like I was like, it was 3rd and 6, and I'm like on my own 48. It's like I'm just gonna run the inside zone because I know if I get to the 50, I can go for it on 4th and 40. Like it doesn't matter at this point. So I think we took the realism out of the game a little bit with that rule. So we're gonna add a 4th down rule when you cross the 50, because we need more punts. We got to stop seeing these, 60, 70, 80 score user games. Obviously against the CPU, it's a little bit different because CPU is CPU. But when, it's a user versus user matchup, there should be more than 2 punts in an entire game. or each team should have a punt. If I'm sure I went damn near whole seasons without punting against a CPU. I mean, punting against a user. It's because I knew that I could get to the 50 and I'm good. So I need to change that a little bit. So we're gonna go over everything. This YouTube video is gonna stay up, so you can go back and revisit it. Obviously, we should be getting some information about the game in the next 2 weeks. We'll talk about how we're gonna pick teams. At the end of the video, we'll do the wheel spin on who's gonna get the free copy of the game. Yeah, I mean, Brandon, is there anything you want to add before we kind of just start talking about stuff?
We can go ahead and get into it. I mean, on the first slide where we do over the leaderboards on that, we'll kind of recap the seasons and stuff.
All right, so this is, hopefully you guys can see it. It's probably very small for you guys, but this is the all-time leaderboard for this cycle. And if you're wondering why it looks like this, I didn't stop paying for the damn. By the way, it's $50 a month. I don't know if y'all knew this, but it's $50 a month for the software that we use, and I stopped paying for it. We stopped using the lives, and I stopped doing my podcast. So that's why there's like a watermark on the top right, and there's no BYL logos. But I'll start paying for that again. Jesus, when the cycle kicks back off. But we were talking about $700 a year I was paying to keep this bitch rolling. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, so this is the all-time leaderboard. The reason why this is important is because this is how it's going to be determine how you're going to be picking your team. The last 2 cycles, we did it differently, both cycles. The first cycle, it was just we didn't have any data to pull from as far as who's going to pick first, so it was just all randomized. This past cycle, we used the leaderboard to kind of determine who could pick where. But shout out to Fredo. Fredo is going to be the reason why you get put in a bracket and you have to pick out of that bracket because he had the number 1 overall picked and he picked fucking Army.
Yeah,
so
he ruined it for a lot of people. So
those users who are, I'm gonna point out Zach because he's the easy target and I know he's not gonna take it personal. So Zach, for example, has a 52 win percentage. Let's say Zach wants to use Army. Well, I mean, Zach technically can. I'm gonna use Camp. I'm gonna use Camp for an example because I know he won't take it personal. Camp had a 25% win percentage. How we're doing this is instead of everybody just.
You want to say that to the end, or you want to say it now?
I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna get out of the way now. So I'm actually gonna go back a slide and break this down. So we came up with the tier system. There's only 10 people in here, by the way. That's pitiful, by the way. Just I want to put that out there. But this is the tier system and how we're picking teams. So if your win percentage was an 80% or higher, you have to pick a bottom 20 team. There's only 4 of us who had an 81% or higher. Me, Brandon, Bish, and David. So the 4 of us have to use a team that is deemed to be bottom 20 in the game. Tier 2 is bottom 30 team. So if your win percentage was 70 to 79, which again, I'll flip back. So anybody from Franco to Fred. So Franco, Justin, Willie, Trill, Sterling, and Fred. You will have to pick a team that is bottom 30 in the entire game. Tier 3 is 55 to 69. So that's going to be.
And when you talk about like bottom 30 teams, it's something me and Steven and Sterling and Zach, we're going to come together and we're going to find like the tier system of what team is going to be where. All because you say, hey, FIU is
a 65 overall. That doesn't mean they're already,
They might have a couple gold pipelines or something, and we feel like that's an easy start being in South Florida or something like that. Our goal is to kind of make it more competitive for the good users versus like the non-competitive guys that were during the cycle.
So 55% to 69 is a bottom 40 team. So that's going to be Mondo, Mead, Ajami, Bryce, Berto, Christian, Mike, Red, Westside, and Kyle. So all of you you have to pick a team that is a bottom 40 team. Anybody who's between 40% win percentage and 54, which will be Leo, Fresh, Caraway, Zach, Q, and Dane. You can pick any team you want that is at the G5 level. Any team you want. Now, that's the trickiest one because when Dane goes and picks fucking Air Force, then we're going to have to make an adjustment to this. So we're kind of giving that tier 4 user the benefit of the doubt to choose any team you want. Please don't go pick the worst team in the game because then you're going to ruin it for the next cycle. Pick a team that you either want to use or a good team. Tier 5 is the 39% or below. You have to choose a top 10 team. So Ant's no longer with us. So Fredo, Weeks, Shane, and Camp, you have to pick a team in the top 10. So, like I said, and I'm sorry to Weeks, Shane, and Camp, if there was a specific team you wanted to use next cycle, Fredo ruined it for you. And I'm sorry because Fredo had the number 1 overall pick. He had the
He's
worst.
had New Mexico State anyways. I'm pretty sure he wants a fresh start and go give him a good team.
Yeah, so because Fredo had the number 1 pick, he had like the worst or second worst win percentage in CFB25, and he chose Army when he could have chose Boise State, Memphis, UNLV. He chose Army. So, and then he still ended up under, sub. He's said again.
Josh just joined.
Oh, and he still ended up sub 40%. So at this point, we're gonna kind of force those users' hand. So again, those 4 users, you're gonna have a pool of 10 teams to use. It's gonna be the best teams that can be used in BYL to start the season or start the cycle, and you can pick any one of those 10. So what that means is when those 10 are taken, then the tier 4 users have dibs on those other teams. And how we're going to do this, so to even further give those tier 3, 4, and 5 guys the advantage, tier 1 users are going to pick first. So we're going to spin a wheel from me, Brandon, Bish, and David, and we're going to pick out the order. With those 4 people choose their teams, it's going to be a bottom 20 team. Now, everybody in the league knows where Brandon is, Steven is, Bish, and David is. So if the tier 5 user says, oh, I really want to use Boise State, but Brandon has SDSU, which they're not going to be bottom. I'm just using a geographical standpoint. I'm not going to go there because I know I got to play Brandon, or I'm not going to go there because I know I got to play Bish. You can use that to your advantage. Last year, we didn't want that. So we did everything under the rug, behind the scenes. This year, we're going to give those tier 3, 4, and 5 guys the advantage to try to help more competitiveness. So the selection order is going to be tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 5, and then tier 4.
Yeah.
So
because tier 4 gets to pick whatever team they want, so they'll get the leftover teams versus the tier 5. They have to pick the top 10. So if we let tier 4 pick whoever they want, then they're going to steal the tier 5's teams.
Now, the only pushback that I can see us getting from doing that order is if somebody is in tier 4 and they wanted a team that was a bottom 40, like let's say somebody like San Diego State is a bottom 40 team, and somebody says, well, I wanted SDSU. That's unfortunate. Like you're just going to, you could pick up any team. And because there's 10 top 10 teams and only 4 of them are going to be picked, there is guaranteed to be at least 6 top 10 teams available when your tier 4 is picked. And there are only going to be
like 6 of y'all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of y'all. So you're guaranteed a top 10 pick. Now, if you don't want a top 10 team, then that's up to you. But you can't say, well, I didn't get to get this team, because you are guaranteed to get a top 10 team. So this is a perfect way we did it. There are 10 users who can get 10 top 10 teams. So that's a perfect way of kind of balancing the league out, and then forcing those guys who are under 40% to get a top team, forcing those guys who are 80% to get a bottom 20 team. So that way it doesn't guarantee that Brandon's going to go 6-6 in the first year, but it's going to make it very hard for a very good user to recruit for one and win games when you have a 61 overall team and you're going against everybody else who's, in the 60s, high 60s, low 70s. I think they're going to work on the coaching carousel. I'm pretty sure they've been talking about it. I would be surprised they didn't on the 3rd iteration of this game. I think they're gonna do that. So hopefully we get a better coaching carousel. But I think this is going to be big to balance out the league. I think we had a lot of balance this season as well, though, because we had 4 national championships. Well, really 5 national champions, including Savage.
That's why I put the tier. Wanted to bring up the tier list. The fact that we had more parity going from last year. I think you had 7 national championships, and the only other person was
Chauncey,
and I think what's his name had one before he got booted. But we had a lot more parity. Ace. We had a lot more parity this year with champions. I think 4 years in a row we had a new champion. So that's kind of the goal we wanted to do, going from 25 to 26, and wanted to see more champions. And I think we'll be able to see. My goal I don't know what Steven's goal is, but my goal when we come with this tier system going over into 27 is we have me, Beesh, Steven, and Pelf in the 80s. Hopefully and Steven had 90% the last 2 seasons. Is once you start losing games throughout in the season, like if Steven was at 90% and he lost like 2 or 3 games where it dropped him down to an 89, 88%, it would be almost impossible for him to get back up to a 90%. He would have to win a lot of games, and we want to kind of get more users below that 80% mark. And we have a lot of users in here that have 70s and 80s. That means we have more parity in the league. Obviously, we can hope for the 25 percenter guys to get up there, but I mean that's the only way we can kind of create parity for that is that we kind of give them a head start, whether that be a team that has a couple more 100 hours, better pipelines, or whatever it is. Eventually, the league will continue to balance itself out. Some of the guys that got the first pick in the draft with the best team, they might fall back because of whatever reasons. But at least we gave them the edge this year versus last year. We just kind of let them pick Army and then they fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna be good. Um, as far as like I said, balance for the league because when you see okay, I have can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, when you see I have Steven and Brandon in the southeast side of the country, you're gonna see a lot of people. Oh, well, I'm not gonna go there because I'm gonna give myself an advantage here, which is fine. Like I said, last year we didn't want to do that because I didn't want anybody to get an advantage. I think this year is the year where do that, do whatever it takes so that way you have the advantage, and that's what we're trying to do because naturally the good users are going to be able to win games as the cycle goes because they're going to get jobs. But I think forcing and handicapping the good users to start at a very, very low school, they're not going to immediately get a really good job offer. It's going to take them a couple of job offers, whether it be going from Delaware to Texas State, from Texas State to Minnesota, then Minnesota to Oregon. It's going to take them 4 trips to get somewhere they want to be rather than, going from Boise State straight to Georgia Tech and then now I'm at Clemson, or San Jose State, Georgia Tech to Clemson, or somebody like David who went from Navy to Auburn to Ohio State. Like it's just so easy to flip, and boom, now you're somewhere with a long haul. You're a lifer at that school at that point. So we want to make it a little bit more hard. I would love to have, in the game where they make it to where you can manually move a coach. Because if they did that, then we'd come up with our own criteria on when you could go to a school. And that's what we were originally going to do when I had a 15-page Google Doc on how we were going to run the damn league. But they didn't do it that way.
Rules and criteria on how coaches would be able to move up to the Alabamas of the world.
So I mean, hopefully they add something like that. I don't think they will, but if they did, I mean that would be best for the league. But does anybody have any questions as far as how we're picking teams or the tier system before we move on to
There's 19 people in here too?
Rule changes, yeah. So please let us know. Is there any questions you have about it?
And speaking of go back to the percentage bar because whenever it comes to the tier 4 guys when they get the last pick, if you look at where tier 4 falls out underneath the category of the 54% to the 40, those are some good users in there. They just probably somewhere along the way they just
hold on. Franco, no, you cannot get North Texas again. We're not allowed to pick the same team. Oh, you could be UTEP because it's been 2 years since UTEP. You could use UTEP again. You just can't use North Texas. You cannot use who you started off with this cycle. So if I wanted to go back to Boise State, I could. Obviously, I can't because they're not going to be a bottom 20 team. But you cannot use the same team you start off with this cycle. Go ahead, bro. Oh, wait. And Ajami, that's what we're explaining now. So the tier system. And you just rewatch the video, if anything, bro.
And then, Mondo, you'll know what tier you're if you finish as a 54% coach on the leaderboard, you'll fall in tier 4, 54%.
Wait. So you guys see the tiers. So tiers 1 through 5, that percent is your win percentage. Your win percentage is here. So Mondo, you're at 55%. So you're gonna fall under tier 3. And then who else asked?
Westside is 66%. He's tier 3.
Yeah, Westside is a 66. So you're also tier 3. So that's how it works. Go ahead, Brennan.
And then so I felt like when it comes to because tier 4, they're going to be the last group of people to pick.
But there's going to be so many good teams available.
And there's going to be really good teams left. And I feel like those are some of the coaches that we will see kind of take a bigger jump in BYO because those are guys that can beat you on any given fucking Saturday. We've seen Q beat Steven in year one, and he said multiple times that he felt like he just fell behind, whether it be recruiting or whatever. He had really good skill. He won a conference championship. If you give him a top 10 team and he takes the league serious, we could see him jump up 20% next year. So that's kind of another reason that tier four, they know what they're doing. They know how to recruit. It's just, can they put it all together? So,
Mondo, he said, so I know that tier 4 can pick their team. So what does that mean for tier 3? So if you also see, we're going to post this picture of this little graphic in the chat. He said, I got 4 ships. You'll be all right, Franco. That don't even matter at this point. So, Mondo, so you're tier 3. So what that means is you're tier 3, right?
yeah, Mondo is tier 3. He's a 55%er,
Okay.
ain't he?
So yeah, so that means bottom 40. So when the game releases, me, Brandon, Sterling, and Zach are going to go in and we're going to rank every G5 team from top to bottom. So the bottom 20 teams that are in G5, tier 1 can only pick from them. The bottom 30 teams from G5, tier 2 can only pick from them. In tier 3, you can only pick a bottom 40 team. So I can tell you
there's 66 teams.
there's a lot, but I can tell you
good teams in that tier.
off the top of my head, you're not going to be able to get Boise. You're not going to be able to get Memphis, UNLV, Washington State, Oregon State. You're not going to be able to get those type of teams. USF, those teams are going to be off limits for you. But somebody in tier 4 can pick any of the G5 teams. And then somebody in tier 5 have to pick the top 10 teams that we deem to be the top 10 of all the G5 teams. Because we don't want, somebody like Marquise, who what Fredo did, it says, you know what, I really want to go use Delaware. Then he uses Delaware, and then he has a repeat of this cycle where he's kicking himself saying, I shouldn't have picked them. I should have just picked them. So we're not even going to let you, hurt yourself early. We're going to and now if you go to a team like USF and you get fired, then I don't know what to tell you. Like at that point, like you went to a really good team.
That's one thing that you might see during, because I know Fredo tried to use that I chose Army because if I did bad, I wasn't going to get fired. They might see themselves get fired. But the good thing here is you'll be able to strategically pick your landscape of where, like if you see Steven is whatever team, fucking Georgia State, and you don't want to be in his conference, you can go and strategically go somewhere else. That way, it will help you out in the long run to kind of save your job. Last year, we didn't do the strategically moving thing around because we could have a situation where a top user got inside of the top 10 because it was just wheelbase. So there was a couple users that had good picks, and they could have strategically maneuvered around the little landscape of whatever. Like I had pick like 28 or 29. I could have went and grabbed somebody and had whatever and kind of just took the easy way out. So there was too many chances where good users could do that last year. This year, the good users are off the board immediately.
And also, so based on how he said tank for Oregon State, LOL. So based on how the selection is going to go, like I said, we're going to pick tier 1, tier 2, 3, 5, and then 4. So the 4 people who are in tier 1, who are going to be Beesh, Brandon, David, and myself, we're going to spin a wheel to get the pick order. And that's how we're going to get the pick order for the first 4. Then we're going to go to the next, which is going to be Fred, Sterling, Trill, Willie, Justin, Franco. We're going to spin a wheel. That's going to be picks 5 through 10. Then we're going to spin a wheel again. And that's how we're going to get our selection order all the way down. So that way it's fair. Everybody has a fair chance to pick within their bracket. So again, the winners of this are going to be tier 4 and tier 5 because tier 4, you can pick any team. You're guaranteed at least a top 10 team or any team you want. Tier 5, obviously you win because you're guaranteed to get a top 10 team. Now, again, if for whatever reason, if you're from Florida and you really wanted to use, or if you're from Ohio and you really wanted to use the Ohio Bobcats and you're under 40%, I'm sorry, but you're not going to use them. Like, you got to join another league to get them. Like, that's just what it is. Like, we're trying to make
sense for BYL because we want to see people win more games.
Yeah, so I mean,
I got a question for like the guys that are in tier 5. Are any tier 5 users in here?
I know Camp was in here. I don't know if he still is, but I know Camp was in here.
Shane, Camp,
Shane's at
Weeks.
work. Shane is at work for sure.
Fredo. We parted ways with Amp last night because.
Oh, Shane is here. Okay, Shane is here.
What's your thoughts on the tier 5 system right now? Because I want to
being forced to use a top 10 team.
Like being forced to use a top 10 team. Because I mean, this is something that it's important for those guys.
Ajimi, you're not tier 5, bro. Ajimi, you are tier
Tier
3.
three.
So you have to use a bottom 40 team.
He knows he ain't fucking tier 5.
So Shane, how you feel about that, Shane? Weeks, how do you feel about
What's
that?
y'all's thoughts on the tier 5 users? What's y'all's thought on the top 10 teams? I feel like Weeks last year came in the league. He had a really bad draft award. I think he was picked 29 or 30. He was stuck with New Mexico State. His strategy behind it was kind of just be the only person in that state recruiting, but he had one of the worst states to be in
Josh
overall.
said, I feel do a wheel to pick order for everyone to keep it equal opportunity for tier 1 through 4. Well, we can't do tier 4 because tier 4 can pick any team. So then they would pick teams in the top 10. So I mean, maybe teams 1 through 3, tier 1 through 3 do an order to pick. But the only reason why I don't like that idea is because then when 10 users go and pick 10 bottom 20 teams, now the last 4 people are stuck between 8 teams and not 20. That's why I don't like that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like tier 1, like the tier 1 list, should it move just because.
No. What Josh is saying is that instead of like me, you, Beesh, and David getting to pick first, that we should be on a wheel with tier 1, 2, and 3, and that should be the selection order. So like you could have the 20th pick. But the reason why I don't like that is because then when 13 people go in and pick teams that are in the bottom 20, now you have a 1 in 7 chance on a team. And I don't like that because we're already handicapping ourselves to saying I have to pick a bad team. But when somebody else goes and picks 10 of those bad teams, and now I don't, it's like I just don't like that idea.
I don't have the damn the leaderboard from last year, but me and Steven were in the top 4 or 3 last year as well. I think 2 years in a row, I think Steven has 220 something wins or more and under 20 losses. I feel like at this point we have enough data to kind of see if we can just force the good users to kind of have a harder path to the thing. Because if somebody comes in here, like if we do 13 users, 1, 2, and 3, if somebody comes in here and they start like wanting more of a challenge to kind of, because one thing that this tier system can do, it can make you feel disrespected as a user. Oh, like why does he think he's better than me? Like it ain't that. It's just the data that we've had for the last 2 seasons shows that my winning percentage is night and day better than yours. And that if a tier 3 user wants to try to prove a point that he's one of the better users in the league and he tries to go and grab one of the worst teams in the game before we can even get a chance to get the worst team in the game, where it just puts us in the same situation.
Yeah, and Josh, I understand what your like point is, like as a tier 3 user, if you want someone in the bottom 20, but you also got to understand the whole purpose of this is to try to create balance.
You still can. I mean, there's only 4 of us, and then there's
there's
like
only 4.
7 of them in the next one. So I mean, there's plenty of bottom teams if you want to go down there and try to work your way up. Like I think Justin he might be in tier 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if just after me, Beach, Pelf, and Steven pick, I wouldn't be surprised if Justin didn't go in there and grab a team that's worse than one of our teams.
Yeah, and I mean, and I like I said, I understand where he's coming from because, like, for example, like everybody in here knows I wanted Hawaii. I'm probably not going to be able to get Hawaii. They're probably not going to be a bottom 20 team. And I know Josh wants a team from Florida. Like, I know that's what it is. And chances are that if there is a bottom 20 team in Florida, they're probably going to be gone in the first 8 picks from the tier 1 and tier 2, which I get that. But at the end of the day, like, we're trying to make it to where Josh doesn't have the same winning percentage that Beach or David has. So if he can have an advantage over them to get right out the gate and have a better team, that's what we're trying to do. Because for the last 2 cycles, it's just been kind of free range, pick who you want. And we've seen the same leaderboard, essentially the same leaderboard. So what we're trying to do is make changes to the leaderboard. So really the names, if you go look at BYL, CFB25, and CFB26, the names are in the same spots, theoretically. They're right around the same spots. We want to see change in the leaderboard. I want to see Camp up 20%. I want to see Zach up 15%. I'd like to see Willie up 15%. Me down 10%. Like, I just want there to be change in the leaderboard. I don't want there to be the same old BYL leaderboard every time. If that's the case, what are we doing? Like, there's no change. So
if we didn't try to do this to get change, then we will be trying to we be trying to push out the people that are like the 39%. Like we'd be trying to push Fredo out of the league to try to bring in more comp to try to fucking make our percentage go down, and we don't want to do that. I mean, Fredo's been here since the very beginning of BYL, and
Yeah.
we would have to
So
do something like that to constantly create parity in the league if we didn't try to find other scenarios and ways to kind of balance out the competition.
yes, I mean I think this is gonna work. I mean I think everything
And
will work
I'll
itself
also
out.
be
So
very surprised if we had a bottom 20. Their FIU is not really that good, but I would be surprised if they find a way to end up in the bottom 20 just because of their pipelines. Every team in Florida has gold, Florida or better. So if you give me gold Florida, I had fucking silver Alabama and bronze Ohio as my second one, and I was had a solid recruiting class at Jack State. If you give me a gold Florida, there's no doubt in my mind I'm turning them around after 1 or 2 seasons. That goes for any user that knows how to recruit, whether it be Trills in tier two. He will turn Florida into a fucking powerhouse of a team if he gets any of the Florida teams. So I would be surprised if you see Florida. They might, I don't know. We haven't got the game. We haven't been able to see the pipelines yet or anything like that. But I'll be surprised if you've seen, there's so many bad teams out there. We went through like 30 or 40 teams earlier just from this game alone that
yes.
had really bad pipelines before we even got to Florida. So I would be surprised if you've seen me, Beach, Pelf, or Steven with a Florida team or Texas team at that.
Yeah. I mean, Fresh said just hopping in chat, top 10 for tier 5. I just recommend going back and watching the whole live. I don't want to, people are going to slowly start trickling in. I don't want to keep explaining over and over. You are tier
I,
4. So you're going to
yeah.
be able to pick any team you want. Just know that. Any team in G5, you can pick whoever you want.
And keep in mind, there's only 6 users in the tier five. So there's still
there's only 4. There's only 4.
4 users in the tier five list, and there's 6 of y'all in tier four. So you're still guaranteed
A
a
top 10
top
team.
10 team if you want them.
Yeah, so if you
So
want
like
a
the
top 10
40 to
team, you can get them.
54% guys, they know what they're doing. They just maybe had a poor situation that there was in last year. And it kind of just gives them the free realm to kind of just pick whoever they want. But hopefully we don't have to do something next in 28 because of too many tier four guys decided that they wanted to do Fredo type activity.
Yeah. I mean, and again, if you're so I'm gonna pick on somebody. If you're tier 4, if you're somebody like who's 55? Mondo, right? If Mondo goes, oh, well, I really want to use New Mexico State, right? That's not a top 10 team. Now, if you use them and your ass goes from 55% to 38 next year, then we're gonna have a problem, bro. Because at that point, like the whole idea that we had to do this, you decided to just steer away from it. Now, if you go get New Mexico State and your percentage goes up and it all works out for you, cool. Like I'm not gonna be mad. But we saw Fredo had the number 1 overall pick, and he chose probably a bottom 30 team that was available, bottom 40 at least, team that was available, claiming he's going to win a natty, bro.
I
Like,
mean,
come on,
Fresh
bro.
picked Memphis, went like 5-7 and got a Vanderbilt job.
Yeah, I mean,
Like it's possible to just go and get one of those top 10 teams, bid high on yourself for year one, win 7 or 8 games, and you might be fucking coaching Auburn.
literally. What does anybody else have any other questions before we move on? Can I get the
And
Cliff Notes
also
version?
to answer Red's,
Wait. Leo, the Cliff Notes version. So you have a 45% win percentage, meaning that you can pick any team in the game. You're going to pick last, essentially. Like you're going to be a late pick, but you're guaranteed a top 10 team, and you can pick any team you want. That's the Cliff Notes version.
yeah.
Go ahead, Brendan.
And then to answer, like, obviously, I think Red said that the top user eventually just rise to the top, anyways. We will, obviously, but I mean, it might take us a little bit longer to get there.
Hopefully, it just takes longer. Yeah.
Whenever you have a really bad team, it's hard. I had Jack State last year, and I was ready to call it quits after year one. And then somehow I just got a recruiting class in, and I went to the portal, and I was able to have a championship team for my conference. Year two, and I was able to get up out of there. But hopefully the carousel system is a little bit different next year, where it's more of you have to grind a little bit harder. But I mean, we'll also because the top 10 teams, because they'll have the ability to kind of strategically pick to where they want to go. We won't just blindly say, "Oh, by the way, Fredo, you're in the American Conference," even though he was trying to avoid us.
Yeah.
We won't do that. You'll know what conference you're going into this year. Like if you want to be in the American, if your team falls in the American Conference, that's what you're going to be going into. But we will tell you, There's going to be a there's
Yeah,
going to probably be like a last year I had like the big
there has to
three
be.
with Mountain West, American, and Mac. You'll have that same type of bracket. um, you'll know like, hey, if I pick this team, I'm going to be falling into this category. Whether we do a big four or a big three, because there's
It'll
going to be
probably,
32 of us,
yeah, it'll probably be
and
three,
there's going to
but
be we can do 8 in each, or we can do the 10, 10, and 11 or whatever, or 11, 11, and 10, whatever, whichever one we decide. You will know. If I pick a team and let's say American has like their region on the map and it's just blue, like they'll have like a bunch of blue because I started doing it yesterday. We just didn't add it to the live because we're going to have another wheel spin in the future. So the American teams are going to be blue and it's going to have the American logo on it. So you'll know, hey, if I pick this team, I'm probably going to be in the American. And if there's 11 users already with that team, you know the next side over is probably where you're going to end up at. Which we have a long time to kind of figure out the landscape of that. Um, we'll but you will know, hey, if I pick this team, then I know for a fact that I'm avoiding Steven or something.
yeah, and I mean, also keep in mind, like, if you go get a team like San Diego State or San Jose State, when they're so far west, you know you're going to be in that conference. If you pick a team that is borderline, then just know if we have to move teams, the team that makes the most sense to bump over is going to go. So if you pick a team in, like I said, in California, I'm going to use it because it's the most, or Hawaii, you're not going to end up on the East Coast because we want to keep the geography of it that makes sense. We're not going to put Hawaii in the same conference as South Alabama, Georgia State, and FIU. We're going to keep
And
them
to be
with
honest,
SDSU.
if we move somebody, we would try to be do the tier 3 or 4 guys versus moving a tier 1 guy over tier. Like I feel like people want to avoid whether they want to say it or not. They want to avoid the tier 1 and tier 2 guys when they're strategically picking their team. If a tier 4 guy or a tier 3 guy ends up in their conference, they probably won't have too much to say about it.
So does anybody have any questions about how we're going to do that? Obviously, we'll post all these inside the announcement tab and stuff like that. But said, now don't get me wrong, I like the idea. We'll definitely balance the T1 through 3 out for sure. All right, Willie, I'm not even gonna respond to that, bro. You need help, dog. All right, well that's that. So I'm gonna take this away because we don't need that anymore. Um, the next thing before we talk about rule changes, the next thing I want to talk about is these damn video recaps, bro. So I don't know if next year we want to do like, oh, you get points for this, you get points for that. I think we're just going to set the expectation now. Like, bro, if you don't do recaps, we're just going to remove you. Like, we got to a point where we were like, if you do this recap, you'll get points. Like, I understand that because people want to build certain players, but we're not giving out as many points as we did last year. I think we gave out way too many points for things
I
that
think
should have just been done.
we got to a point to where like I think we made the change like season 6 where once somebody lost and they did their recap, we gave them an extra point to kind of see if that was like some of the reasons why they wasn't doing their recap because they didn't like talking on the phone after they lost. But I mean, we started this in year 1. And then we had a whole season of, well, not cycle 1 with 25 and then cycle 2 with 26, where we've all known about videos at this point. So moving forward, it's this expectation of BYL is like we do recaps here, and they're mandatory. I was just sitting here begging people to do a 26 recap. I know I was tagging myself over and over, but my goal was to just wait until the very end, and I'll be the last person to post my video. I was never going to be late to something that I tagged over and over to. The fact that I was sitting there tagging the same users over and over and over, and y'all are online and y'all are not responding, and I see you talking elsewhere, or whatever it is, I'm never gonna go to another league and chase you, and I'm not gonna do that. So if I see you over there and you're not doing something over here, I'm just gonna go find somebody else that fits the league better than that. So that's just what that is. And the expectation in BYL is just that we do recaps here. Everybody in this league has done a recap, so it's not like you can't do a recap. I would understand like if we were making the recap rule change to where like if a new user was to join tomorrow and he didn't have the expectation of like, oh, BYL does recaps and all of a sudden like, oh, hey, you got to do recaps. Like everybody knows that we do recaps before you even load into a BYL game. So that's just the expectation that we came to is we're going to season 21 and we're going to try to get to season 31. I'm assuming 10 or 11 seasons next year, kind of the expectation.
Yeah.
It's you've been here long enough. You can talk to your phone for fucking a minute and minute 30 seconds and it not, oh, I'm not gonna do it if I don't get points.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think like points is a thing anymore. And I'm not saying like we're not going to give points. Like it's just not going to be as extreme. Like we're not giving 30 points at the end of every season anymore.
Yeah, it won't
Like
be like that.
we'll find other incentives on way to how to get points and stuff like that, but it's not going to be like that. Whether it be for awards, we'll do stuff like that, like how we used to do in Madden like years ago. But it's not going to be how it is now, where it's if you do 10 recaps, I'll give you an extra 3+ speed or +3 speed. Like I'm not doing that, bro. Like
Yeah.
if we get through 2 to 3 seasons and I see a user has only done 5 recaps in 36 games, I'm just gonna remove you, bro. Like I'm not gonna keep asking for you to do the recaps because at the end of the day, like I said,
It wasn't even you, Franco.
there's a good amount of people in here that does enough
I know
recaps that
Q's
everybody should do
not
it.
to call out Q. I meant to say Q, but not to call Q out. But he didn't come on to like I was sitting there like on Q since like the year 2 or 3. Like that's Trill's guy. I was sitting there message him every season. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And I didn't want to boot him because he was Trill's guy and he played all of his games. And then I had to get on Trill. Like I was constantly messaging Trill, like, "Hey, get him to do this, do this, do this." And at what point, like we're all grown men. And then Trill came. Q came on late. He started doing all his recaps. Hopefully, when the next game comes out, he continues to do all his recaps. Because the warning is now, like if I'm gonna say use Q because that's kind of the person that was dragging along last year. If he starts off 27, how he started 26, I won't even beg him. I'll just boot his ass. And it's no hard feelings. It's just business.
We just
It's
got to do the
exhausting.
recaps. We
I
just got to
tagged
do the
like 20
recaps, bro.
times.
Yeah.
Like I tagged, for example, Ant. Steven booted Ant last night because I'm sitting here begging Ant to do a damn recap, and he's not even responding to me. And he's sitting here reacting to my message in NGNG. Like I ain't like at what point you're like just say, hey, fuck you, bye. No, I'm not doing my recap. I done told you a million times when the deadline is. You done passed the first deadline, and then here comes the second deadline, and you still ain't responding to me. Just give me a thumbs up or something. I had a
Yeah.
fucking. I mean, obviously Christian retired months ago, and he's still in all his chats. Probably viewed this shit. That's fine. Eventually, he came in the chat and responded to mine. But if you never gonna respond to me, and I'm sitting here begging you, just gonna get rid of your ass.
Yeah, I mean, and
And
that's the
it's no
thing
hard
though.
feeling. He's still a cool guy. I still talk to him. Like, he makes shirts. He makes shirts. I'll buy another shirt from his ass. There's no hard feelings. It's just BYL.
That's the
I
thing though.
put BYL first before I put fucking anything.
Like we're going to another cycle, bro. Like there's gonna be so many people that are looking for leagues. Like we can find people who are gonna be a good fit for the league. So it's like I'm not gonna keep asking the same people, yo, do a recap, do a recap, do a recap. Or if you decide, well, I'm only gonna do a recap when I win, it's like we're just gonna find people who do recaps because there's people in this damn league, bro, that haven't won more than 70 games in 2 cycles, and they ain't missed but 2 recaps.
Yeah,
So
Coach
it's like,
Keith, that motherfucker he gonna sit at that camera every time he get his ass bust. He gonna talk
yeah,
to it.
and it's like that's the whole point of this league. Is like that's what the foundation was. You could scroll back in the announcements. You could scroll back as far as you could go. Like that's what we said from the jump. Like this isn't gonna be just a load up and play league. Like it's not a Facebook Messenger league. It's gonna demand a lot more than
And
that.
I wanna shout out to all the users that constantly made the playoffs in BYL. Like bowl games and playoffs, like everybody knows, like we never gave out points for playoffs for recaps. And everybody that constantly made the playoffs, they always did their recaps, knowing damn well that they wasn't gonna get no points for it. Those are the guys like you'll obviously see once we get to the wheel spin. We know who's who. Those are the guys that kind of like help BYL like be at the level it is today. Like whenever you do shit, not for points. There's some people that would never even do shit because they ain't get no points for it. Like we're probably gonna see it now. Like we probably see somebody next year. We're still gonna give you points, but it
it's just
won't
not
be
gonna be.
30. It'll
But
be
I'm
like
also.
closer to 12 than it
But
is
like I said though,
1.
I promise you, there is 20 people in here, bro. Season 2 comes and there's somebody who ain't doing recaps, bro. I'm just gonna boot you, bro. Like,
Hey, I sit there and threaten motherfuckers too when it came to no season recaps. I'm suspending your player. I think I made that example last year whenever Kyle like
yeah,
snoring on the game and somehow got a damn excessive grievance against fucking Beast because he wanted to go take a sleep and I just deleted his whole entire fucking quarterback from his team to prove a point. If I'm just gonna start suspending your players if we gonna boot you, your quarterback that his quarterback was a 91 overall and his backup quarterback was in the fucking 70s and I booted him right out the game. He was playing the rest of the game. He was playing the rest of the season with a 70-something overall quarterback. And I was like, hey, I'll get him back to you. I saved the video, like of me like moving all his stats. And I was like, I'm gonna give you your player back in 3 games. I never gave him his player back, and I told him why at the very end of the season. Just wanted to prove a point. Like if you do some shit like that in BYL, like we take it more serious. Not that his other leagues don't take stuff serious or nothing like that. Just the fact that you can't come in here and just you don't. I was in a league with Kyle, like 3 different leagues with him, and he never done that in any of those other leagues. So why the fuck you don't come in here and do it in here? That's kind of like the what I was telling him whenever I deleted his quarterback.
Yeah. Well, so pour one out for the homie. All right, so that's the expectation for recaps.
No, we love Cal, man. I appreciate you being in BYL, dude.
Shout out to the diamond, bro. Shout out to the diamond, man.
Hey, if that would have happened to me in a different league, I ain't gonna lie, I was out of that bitch. So I know you really here for BYL because I would have left if I were you.
What was I gonna say? Streaming. Make sure y'all fix y'all YouTube before it starts. You need to make sure you're able to stream on YouTube. None of that Twitch shit. So that's one.
I think Westside figured something out where his Twitch saves like every video.
Okay. Forever.
You just gotta be a paid person or whatever it is.
All right, we'll figure that out.
Most motherfuckers don't get paychecks from Twitch, so go ahead and sign up on YouTube.
What was the other thing? Rule changes. Let's get right into the rule changes because we already run up on 45 minutes. So still no custom, so we're not running with custom. So biggest thing in here is you need to show your playbook before each game, before you start streaming, whether against CPU or against a user. You must follow all the rules against CPU. That was a big thing at the end of the cycle. You should be following the rules against no matter who you're playing, CPU or user. Still gonna have no customs. Fourth down rules. Brandon, I'm gonna let you explain this one.
All right. You don't got nothing for me to talk off of, do you?
Do you want me to read it? I have it on my phone. I'll read it. Yeah. Are you sure?
I remember them. Okay. When it comes to the fourth down rule, the rule that we
everybody pay attention, bro. Pay attention.
So when it comes to the fourth down rule, once you pass the 50-yard line, you can do whatever you want. You can go for on 4th and 20. The rule is now 4th and 5. That's if it's 4th and 6, kick your field goal. If you're closer to the 50, go ahead and pull the punter out. We have our plays. The better users in the league, like once I got into 4th and 7, 4th and 8, I got it too many times. Steven got it too many times. There too many good users got it way too many times. I've seen some bad users go in there and they just shit themselves. It's going to bring a competitive balance once you're forced to kick a field goal or punt. Like that's where not only are you milking clock out, because that's another thing that the good users do. They milk the clock out after they get their fourth down, whether it be in a certain situation. Once it's 4th and 4, whatever you can go for, but 4th and 5 or back, you got to kick your field goal or punt. And then once a 2-minute warning hits, you'll be able to go
wait. 4th and 6 or back, you have to punt.
Yeah, 4th and 6, you have to kick your field goal or punt it. So that's the new thing that we're adding. And then let's say if it's past a 2-minute warning, that's kind of the momentum phase. You can go for it. If you don't get it, I mean that other team got a chance to steal the momentum right back. That's kind of how football has always been when it comes to momentum.
So
late in the half.
Are we gonna do 2-minute warning? You can go for it anywhere on the field or only across
no,
the
it's only past the 50-yard line. So the rule now that we have past the 50, that will be like past the 2-minute. Once the 2-minute warning hits, it'll be like our rule now. So but like in the first quarter, whatever, once you pass the 50, it's 4th and 6, you got a punt or kick field goal.
And there's still no fourth quarter rule or overtime rule.
Yeah,
you can go for it when you're down 17, you can do whatever you want. If you're on your own 10 and you're down 30, you can go for it.
I mean, that's another thing that I see is like I'll point out Zach because he was down like 20 points, and it was 4th and 10 on his own 18-yard line, bro. Like I just punt it. That's how you turn the stream back on 5 minutes later, you're down 50. That's what happens to all of the users that constantly put themselves in bad situations. What we do as good users is if I see a 4th and 7, if I'm 3rd and 7, we'll try to get 3 yards. That way we can go for it. That's just kind of, we all have our plays, and it's just there to balance out the competition we're trying to do anything we can to balance it out. Because no punts. I mean, there were so many times where I don't even want to kick a field goal or punt, especially if I was up big. If I'm up 15 plus points on a user and it's like 4th and 5, I was going for it regardless on my on their side of the field. So it didn't really matter. Now I got to kick a field goal or punt, and it probably can give them some momentum to get back into the game.
Yeah, so
I think
that's in the fourth down rule.
a lot of the
But
NG&G guys already know about that rule. I think they have something similar to that as well. So they have like a 4th down rule past the 50-yard line.
I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Can I get a thumbs up if y'all are still with us? Because I ain't seen nobody type in a minute, so I just want to make sure we still rolling.
Yep, there's 20 people in here.
Yeah, that's why I just haven't seen nobody type though in like 5 minutes. I just want to make sure everybody can still hear us and everybody still understands that. And then I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, Bryce is good. I think that's pretty much everything. Um,
Any questions before we get this fucking wheel kicked off?
yeah, we're gonna do the wheel spin to figure out who gets the free copy of the game. And again, we're gonna retype up all the rules and post it in the rules chat.
So as time goes by, obviously we have a lot of free time. You'll start seeing some of the Discord channels look a lot different, whether it be cleaning up some of like if you scroll in our rules channel, like you have to scroll up from 2 years ago. Like and we put multiple different new rules in there, whether it be like you can't move a tight end to a receiver or whatever the rule was. Like all that's already passed all the rules. So we'll go in there and we'll clean all that up and get the Discord looking fresh.
All right, well, let's go ahead and do the wheel spin. Let me pull it up on my screen over here.
By the way, while he's pulling up the wheel spin, I went through and I looked at like kind of like we have 9 seasons worth of recaps, whether that be you before Steven spins the wheel. Like there's people's names are on there multiple times, and there's some people's name that ain't on there but one time. But everybody in the league, your name is on the list. Even though I threatened you and said that your name wasn't going to be on the list if you didn't post your recap before last Friday, I did give you a spot on the wheel, whether that be 1 or 2 spots. But I went back and I looked at all the recaps, whether 1 through 9. So if you were somebody like, I hate to point him out again, but Q, like he didn't start doing his recaps until the very last season. It was the last few games. His name is only going to be on there one time. I give a shout out to all the NG&G guys. All those guys are going to be on there 3 times. That's the max you can be on here is 3 times. Every one of them came in here. They did all their recaps, whether that be Pelv, Willie, Dane. I know Dane was here way before all of them, but I mean he's still part of them. All those guys, Weeks, Shane came in here. They've all done all their recaps, so you can go back and look at all the history. If you want to stat check me, they came in here and they've done everything they're supposed to do. So you'll see all their names on there 3 times, and then the guys that are on there 2 times are guys that done their recaps. But maybe they fell off a season or 2 or 3 seasons or whatever. If I senior only did 5 or 6 recaps a year, you probably only see your name on there 2 times. So I have the list on my phone of everybody. If you can't see, if you want to ask later, I have the whole list. But there's the max you can have on here is 3, and then some guys have 1. It just you gotta if you want. This is coming out of our pockets. Free game. Everybody wants a free game.
Hey. So you originally were gonna give away a free game.
Yeah, I was gonna give away the free game.
We're gonna one up. We're gonna do 2, bro. You gonna give away a copy. I'll give away a copy.
All right.
So we're gonna
do that.
All right. So we're gonna spin the wheel twice.
Okay, we'll spin the wheel twice. And then two games. We'll up it.
So before.
And again, like we might do something different next year. This is like when it comes to like max effort for BYO. Obviously, if somehow somebody's on their names on there one time and they get lucky, they just got lucky. But I tell you right now, I did a lot of mocks, and they didn't get lucky. So when it comes to the future of BYL, just put in max effort, and we're going to continue. The more we grow, the more stuff we can do. Obviously, year 1, we gave out hundreds of dollars for the first 6 seasons, 6 or 7 seasons. We were just dumping money into conference champions, Heisman winners, national champions. Obviously, Steven won a lot of the national championships the very first year, but we were dumping money into BYL when it first came out. And we can find something else to do, like give out free copies of the game or whatever it may be in the future. Just put in effort. That's all we ask.
So, like I said, instead of me and Brandon splitting that first copy, we're just going to both buy a copy for somebody, one apiece. How is it going to work?
CeeLo and Zach, make that bitch 3 and 4.
How we're going to do this? So I'm gonna send $60 to somebody. I'm not sending it to you today. I'm gonna send that shit when the game gets announced or when I get paid.
Yeah.
I'll send you 60
I
bucks.
was just gonna like a week or two before the game came out. I was gonna buy go in there and give them like the code or whatever. I wasn't even gonna send them no money because they probably gonna buy a coffee or something. They was already gonna get the game regardless. But
well, that's fine. I don't care what you use the 60 for. I'm gonna give you the 60. That's gonna fund it. How you gonna do that? Yeah. So Brandon, this will be your person. So we're gonna spin, and this will be your copy of the game. You ready?
I ain't gonna lie, I kind of hope Coach Kent wins it, bro. I ain't gonna lie, you won this bitch like 7 or 8 times on my wheel spin. I was like, I done ruined all his luck. Hopefully you win it.
You shouldn't have said that. All right, this is Brandon's spin. So Brandon will be buying a copy of CFB27 for Kyle. Kyle just got himself a free game.
I ain't mad at it. I know. I think his name was only on there twice because he came late. So there we go.
Kyle, you in here?
Man. Free copy of the game. Free game. Glad you're here. I was talking shit on you, but hey, man, I got you.
There he goes. All right, it's my copy. Kind of hope Bryce gets it so I can just give him cash tomorrow. All right, here we go.
Bryce ass ain't winning. His ass only on there one time.
Big Leo. The last person in here that needs somebody to buy him a game.
Yeah, that I ain't gonna lie. Leo don't need it.
But I'm
Leo.
Nah, but
free copy, man.
Leo, if you in here, I'm gonna get with you.
Wake your ass up. I know you've been real busy and stuff like that, and you wasn't undecided about the future of BYL or whatever because you had a lot going on, man. We need you back.
Leo, you in here?
He said, if Leo ain't in here, we might have to spin it again, chat.
That's nasty, bro.
We might have to spin it again if Rich Man ain't in here. His ass didn't even show up to our trip. Bought a flight and all.
Leo, you in here?
Leo, no show again. That man, you think he gonna watch the video? He gonna come in there?
That's nasty. Leo won it, man.
Leo ass ain't in here.
Well, that's who got it. So
there's 20 people in here. He might be in here. I don't know if y'all know who that is. I was talking with the Kraft family. He's the owner of the Indianapolis Colts.
He said I was at a brunch with Jeff Hornacek. All right, well that's gonna wrap it up, man. So let us know in the chat if you have any questions. Like I said, we'll add everything in there. We should be all good. We appreciate y'all. We'll go live again once they announce some more stuff about the game. Yeah, that'll be it. We will catch up.
Another thing before we go, man. The chats have been dead. Obviously, there's no we're not playing the game anymore. I saw a video where they said that they're changing the way that they do the reveal for college football and Madden. They feel like the community wasn't that into it, so we probably won't get how they was giving us something every Tuesday or whatever it was the first year. But we should get something in June. That's from the video that I've seen. We'll get something in June. And obviously football season's not here. I mean, we see some spring stuff that comes around, but we'll try to get the chats back going. Probably won't be a whole lot of me tagging everybody, but I'll be trying to go into the chat whenever I got time to kind of conversate with people so we can get the chat back going.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all. We'll go live here again in the next couple of weeks to kind of check in. But we'll catch y'all. Peace out. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.
Funny.